Yesterday it was announced that there's going to be humongous changes coming to the gearscore watermark system and the endgame crafting in New World. And there's a lot of confusion going around, and I really want to clarify some of this for you guys. Now, I saw confusion in my comments, and I definitely saw confusion in various discords, including a lot of extremely false information going around. Okay, so there's a lot of things we know, a lot of things we don't know, and I want to clarify it so that if you are confused or if you are having arguments with people, you will know what is going on, so you're better suited to, you know, explain what is happening here. So let's start with the gearscore watermark, though. So they're going to revamp it, and what they're going to do is make it so it still works the way it does now, where you can get random drops that just randomly increase your gearscore watermark, but it's going to be called expertise now, and it is going to be able to be increased from these other things called gypsum orbs and all this too. Also, it will display in your inventory, which I can't show you right this second, right next to the icons actually, so you can see where your expertise level is for each slot, which will also be nice. Now, the first thing to clarify is people are saying that our gearscore watermark that we have right now is going to get reset to 500. And I can tell you right now that there's an update on the dev blog from Zim Ramu. Says, we've seen this question pop up a lot since the post, and to clarify, your HWM progression will not be reset at any HWM you had earned will be converted to expertise. Thanks for your feedback so far. Also confirmed in this post. Sorry for any confusion. I have let the support team know that what was communicated in the support conversation was incorrect. Progression will not be reset. Any high watermark you had earned will be converted to expertise. So if anyone says otherwise, it is fake news. They actually will carry over, and that is just how it's going to be. Next, let's talk about this reduced gear score mechanic. So this is something a lot of people are upset about, and I don't blame them. It's kind of, there's always got to be a negative to every update they have. So the way this is going to work is, say that your expertise, which is the gear score watermark for a Warhammer, is at 520. So whenever you go and kill a bunch of enemies and you loot them, if you ever get a Warhammer, it is only a gear score 520 because that, or less, because that's where your watermark is right now. Okay. Well, if you go to the trading post and you buy a 550 gear score Warhammer, it will remain 550 gear score. You will equip it, it will be 550. But the power it gives you will be reduced to 520. Now, you can grow into it by going out and doing all the boring watermark grind and stuff that you don't want to do until you get 550 gear score for the Warhammer. And every step along the way, if you go, now you're at 530, now you're at 540, every time you increase that, its power will also increase all the way till it hits 550. Then if you go beyond 550, the one that you have equipped right here, it'll stay at 550 because it's a 550 Warhammer. So the gear score will stay the same. You'll see it right here in this screenshot. We got the gear score right here, for example, and it would be the same kind of concept. You'd see the gear score, but you'd see the expertise, and it'd be different. So the weapons are still going to be there. It's not going to downgrade a weapon when you equip it. So you can grow into your weapons. Now, as for what we know and what we don't know is if you craft it yourself, will it be any different? My assumption is no. My assumption is everybody gets shafted from this, and it just sucks. There's no positive, really, other than now the game's harder, and they just want to force you to do killing monsters and doing outpost rush. And that's just it. Okay, as far as I'm aware. But maybe not. You know, they might have it to where if you craft it, then you can just equip it even without the whatever. I might be able to test that on the PTR. It comes out today, although I'll probably be posting this video after I live stream the PTR. We'll see how that works out. But assuming that it doesn't work that way, then yeah, it's just going to be you have to grind your watermark or you're not allowed to be strong in this game, which is kind of crap. But okay, so there's like some pros and cons to it. So you could theoretically level from getting trade skill aptitude reward containers, and then once a day do that, and over months and months and months, you would hit 600 gear score on literally every single item eventually, just because, you know. But I'm not so sure that's even practical. We'll have to see how the numbers work out. My assumption is that getting a trade skill aptitude level takes a lot of grinding your crafting. So that might not be realistic. That might be like, it would literally take years trying to do it with that alone. I don't know. We'll have to see for that one. Everything else, though, is going to be go fight monsters, PvP, go fight monsters, go fight monsters, go fight monsters. So it's literally go fight monsters or else you're not allowed to be 600 gear score is what they're turning this into. And you know what I would like to see though? I would just like to see a way for you to be able to craft your watermark. So it'd just be like, hey, let's use 10 Asmodium and 2 runic leather and 3 phoenix weave, and then I can craft I don't know, a guaranteed watermark increase for 1 slot of gear or something by like 2. And then eventually I could just craft my... They should have... I don't know. Basically, they're forcing us to fight monsters. And here's one thing. I'm going to go move on. We have other things to clarify in this, but I do just want to rant for just a moment about this. That I really don't like this, though. That instead of being like, hey, let's make PvE more compelling. Let's make things that make you want to PvE. Instead of doing that, they're saying, let's just put a shackle on your leg and tie you to the PvE so that you can't get away from it. We're not going to make it more fun. We're just gonna we're gonna shackle you to it, so you have to do it because we just want you to do what we did. We put all this work into making it. You should be doing it. Basically, is the way I see it. I don't like that at all. Okay, so that's not fun. But anyway, I have some more things to clarify here. Now, will it be easier to increase your watermark after this change? Well, maybe. We don't know because it's all going to come down to the scaling of the changes. They said what they did. But we have no idea what the numbers are. And knowing them, they might think they have numbers and it could be totally out of whack and not make any sense. We've seen it a million times. So we have no idea. We'll find out on the PTR maybe. So here's what they said about it though, just to clarify this. So they said that they have tuned down the general chances of getting an expertise bump to compensate for the guaranteed bumps that were added with gypsum. So we don't know how this is going to pan out. We don't know what the numbers are on this. Like, is it scaled? Is it tuned way down? And also another thing is it's going to make it harder if you want to sit there and play 12 hours a day grinding your watermark. I would assume it will take longer because the gypsum system can only be kicked in once per day. Every 23 hours, you can use gypsum orbs. So if you want to just grind straight through, it will probably take longer. Also, elite chest odds were reduced a little, and open world named enemies were reduced a lot. So, another thing about this is they're trying to force us into dungeons. They're trying to make us go into dungeons. That's what they want, and do arenas and dungeons. Because they don't want it to be that you can just grind and get it over with, basically. But they said they have increased up the amount of expertise we get with each bump, each increase. You get more, so that each bump feels more valuable. But we just don't know the scaling. So anyone who thinks that they know, oh yeah, it'll be easier, depends on what they mean, honestly, but we don't know any numbers. Anyone who thinks that they know for sure on certain things, there's no certainty yet. Not yet, at least. We're about to get into the PTR today, though. And then, if another person's trying to argue that it's easier because you can just get on once a day and get a guaranteed, increase real fast and then call it for the day, over time, yeah, it'll be easier. If your goal is to get on for 1 hour a day and get your gear score up, it will be faster after this change, 100% in my mind. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it'll be way faster. You get on, you do a dungeon, basically you get each of these gypsums. You get each of these gypsums, turn them in, call it for the day. You spent 2 or 3 hours, you're done. If you do that every day, you'll go way faster than you did before. But you won't be able to grind straight through and get it over with. Now, if your goal is play 16 hours a day and get it done in 2 weeks, that is going to be slower probably. That is probably going to take significantly longer than it does before these changes. So if anyone is arguing with you on this, that is about as good as we know for now on all of this. Now here's the last thing that I want to clarify that I saw people just spreading completely false information about on Discord servers, okay? They had no idea what they're talking about. No offense to them. I'm sure it wasn't intentional. They just didn't realize they were just not right at all. So there's this fake news, so to speak, going around that with the changes to dungeons, you'll be able to roll gear that has you get to handpick the attribute and all the perks. And that is just dead ass wrong. That is not correct. So they're adding a thing called item shards from elite dungeons or whatever. They're guaranteed to drop for expedition bosses, okay? And there's a chance to drop from elite chests. So I mean elite chests in the open world. I guess we can get it from open world too, maybe, question mark? Anyway, item shards, our new crafting ingredient, enables players to basically what it does is it lets you pick the attribute and still be able to use one crafting mod. So say you want con. You can guarantee con, and now you can pick one perk that you guaranteed want. So do you want resilient? You can have resilient. As for the other two, assuming you roll a 600, if you roll a 600, it has 3 perks. If you don't roll a 600, it only has 2 perks, right? Well, assuming you roll a 600, the other 2 perks are completely random. You don't get to control the other 2 perks. Now, for whatever reason, I saw a lot of people going, like, talking in different Discord servers saying, oh yeah, crafters, this update's great for crafters because you'll be able to craft armor with the exact armor that you want with all the mods that you want and everything, and every single perk that you want, like hand-picked. That's just not true. That's just not true. If you see anyone saying that, that is just flat out false, by the way. But it will be nice because you'll be able to make the attribute bonus for free and just focus on one crafting mod. So do you want resilience? Do you want divine whatever, you know, whatever specific one you want, you can guarantee one and then roll the others. So that's how that's going to work, if anyone was confused on that. So there you go. That's everything we know and everything we don't know. So hopefully that clarifies some things. So hopefully now you have a better idea what's going on. I know there was so much confusion going around. So I guess I didn't do quite a good enough job expounding on it in my last video. So hopefully this one, I've really tried to focus this one down on the big confusion points as opposed to just covering the whole thing, which I know a lot of people skip through and stuff. So maybe a lot of people miss certain details and stuff, which I know happens. People will comment and say, oh, you didn't say this. I'm like, well, is that like minute 18? I know it's a long video though, my bad, you know. But that's it for today's video. Not today, I might have other videos today, but that's it for this video. That should hopefully clarify these things for you guys. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing because I post helpful New World news, New World info, New World guides, tips, tricks, gold guides, everything. Usually at least 1 video a day, and I plan to keep that up as long as I can. So if that sounds interesting to you, consider subscribing. But that's it for today's video. Now you have a better idea of what is going to actually be happening with the gear score watermark rework and with the endgame trade skill changes.